So now that it's been confirmed that CNN is fake news, do you think they're going to get shadow banned or perhaps throttled down, even perhaps kicked off of Twitter or YouTube? I'm just wondering. This video is brought to you by Extreme Tees. Click on the link below. Make sure you put Kevin in the promo code and you'll get a 20% discount. What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And please, someone make sense out of this nonsense. So for years, we watched CNN try to tell YouTube and Twitter and all of that stuff to go hard in on a lot of the independent, news sources, or either smaller news organizations, independent people like myself and others who are going out doing the research, seeing through all the crap. But they wanted these big tech companies to go hard on us because they were claiming we were shoveling out disinformation. We were trafficking in conspiracy theories, and all of that mess. And yet we find out what we already knew, that CNN is fake news. That's right, y'all. They done got themselves busted. Now, first of all, I don't know how in the world Project Veritas be pulling some of this stuff off. As I watched part one of what we're about to check out right now, I said to myself, does this dude get any type of intuition or suspicion that why are you asking me all these questions as I'm disclosing some very crucial information about how we operate? I don't know you like that. I mean, if this wasn't a person I was born and raised with, there's no way I would be on my job or talking to somebody just casually. Yeah, that's right, man. Zuckerberg and all of those dudes, they be all, and you know what else? Jack Dorsey. All of these folks that end up getting caught by Project Veritas, I have to question their intelligence. But nonetheless, they're paying my game, okay? Now, it all comes down to this for me. They done shadow banned us. They done called us a threat to democracy. They done said we're sowing disinformation. They put our videos below all of these so-called legitimate news sources. We've listened to little Brian Stelter get on TV constantly talking about the threat of all of these independent news sources on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff. We've watched big tech target us. We've listened to the Democrats mentioning censorship in regards to independent, news sources or commentators like myself and others. And now we find out they have been abusing their power, their position. They have been manipulating the public, and it appears to have paid off. Okay, now guys, my thought is this. What's the difference between CNN, MSNBC, and I don't know, us? Well, everything we said have come to pass. And all the stuff we've watched happen have come to pass. Every time we've said CNN is deceiving the public, it was true. Now we find out. So y'all, let's get into this. Okay, buckle up. Here we go.
A bunch of black men that have been attacking Asian. What are you doing? We're trying to help with the BLM.
Charlie Chester will shock you even more. This time, we see Chester reconciling the truth that actually exists compared to what happens in his own network.
I was trying to do some research on the Asian hate, the people are getting attacked or whatever. A bunch of black men that have been attacking Asian. So I'm what are you doing? We're trying to help with the BLM and we're gonna it's individuals, it's not a people, but that's not good. The optics of that are not good. These little things like that are enough to set back movements, because the far left will start to latch on and create a story of criminalizing an entire people, just easier headlines that way, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
So you're saying that the far left would label a whole genre of people? I kind of missed your point.
That like, no, the conservatives. I'm sorry, not the far left. But I've noticed that like you'll get headlines that might lump people together as opposed to focusing on the individual. I mean, that's what Trump ended up doing with like the China virus, and that puts so much blame on an entire group of people as opposed to a few careless individuals.
Right, the actual source, right?
Yeah.
Go figure. Now, we all know that's what they were doing. Now, he referenced Trump with the coronavirus. The difference is Trump was not calling Chinese people responsible for the coronavirus. It is the Chinese government. But nonetheless, this dude is saying what we already knew. It is a divide and conquer. It is a method of being able to control the population, divide the people, to paint this picture of racism all through America, and also to help the Democrats, y'all, to keep that voter bloc loyal to them. They want all those minorities believing that all white people are nationalists, white nationalists, not just a nationalist, you're a white nationalist. They want them to believe that. And with that being said, let's continue hearing from this guy who has no idea he's on tape.
Yeah.
I mean, but is it normal for the media to like, so say there's a white shooter, black shooter, which one are we gonna, like?
Yeah, for the longest while, like the story was like people were like lapping up that it was like white guys for like so long. I haven't seen anything about focusing on the color of people's skin that aren't white. They just aren't saying anything. You know what I mean? They're just not. All of a sudden, that story loses a little steam, and they just like leave it be.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's got to be trends. Like what?
I know why. Because it's the basic theory, okay? When you are trafficking in, identity politics, how are you going to be able to do that if you don't start getting groups that identify with each other? That's simple. So now, since this whole campaign to demonize white America, except for the white Americans that's doing the demonization, see, they're not included in that, okay? But nonetheless, since this is their strategy moving forward, it benefits them. It doesn't benefit them to highlight the fact that, a black radical person did something like that, or, that some of these black folks commit crimes too. Some of these black folks attack Asian folks too. Because when you get politicians like Kamala Harris that goes and gets on TV and starts demonizing white nationalists and all these attacks on Asians due to Trump's rhetoric and all of that stuff, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, every single thing that happens always lead back to either Trump or white nationalism or some type of racism or discrimination. That is their business model, and it doesn't benefit them to alter or to share the balance of blame. No. See, so that is why they overlook those things, downplay them, suppress those stories. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about stuff that fits their narrative. There you go. Solved it for you, buddy. Let's get back to this guy.
People will latch on to,
You're telling your channel, you were telling me or something, just saying like how media is the greatest weapon. Where were you going to go with that?
I mean, it's just propaganda. Like it can really. Sorry, my chime just went off.
What do you mean by propaganda?
Like you can shape an entire people's perception about anything on how you do it, right? Like
How do you do that?
just by like forcing the story to help like your platform,
Ooh, man, this guy's good and he doesn't even know it. Now, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he's a whistleblower, but I don't think he is. I think he's just in that moment where he trusts this person enough to be candid about what's really going on and to confirm why all these Americans around the country don't understand why they hate Trump, why they think white nationalism is the biggest threat to America, why they, for some reason, want to, support illegal immigration coming in. They don't understand why. They don't understand why Russia is being portrayed as the biggest threat to America, but yet China, who actually is, no one's saying nothing. They don't understand why they were willing to accept this crazy notion that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russia disinformation. They don't know why. They don't know why they once liked Trump and then out of nowhere started to hate him. They just couldn't figure out how I put that together. Used to watch The Apprentice all the time. Loved him. But for some reason now, I'm starting to hate this dude. That's why. Because he hit it right on the head. So did Malcolm the X when he said the media can make you love or hate someone. Example, CNN. Okay, sucks. Let's continue.
Like, you can all of a sudden say, like, coal is the future of, like, energy. Well, that could be propaganda because, like, who owns the company might have stake in, like, coal mining. So, like...
Oh, snap. You hear that, y'all? So when they pushing things like, we got to move now. We got infrastructure. We got to put this away and build this. So then who's the lobbyist getting behind Joe Biden and doing this and saying, hey, Joe, this is what I need you to push. Hey, media, I need you to echo this. Make the public believe these are important things that we need to do. Even though naturally you would probably say, man, that's stupid. But when you hear the media come out and echo and parrot this stuff, and then at the same time, demonize or attack someone who brings up a reasonable argument or opposition to that goal and objective, well, guess what? The average citizen walking around America, they're not hip to these tactics. That is why it works on them. They're casual watchers of the media. They're casual studiers of economics and politics. And that is why they get the wool pulled over their eyes. Man, let me tell you something. Ignorance is people's greatest weakness. And that is what they take advantage of. Now let's continue.
Like Trump getting blasted all over, like constant feeds of like Twitter and Fox giving him a platform is what fueled that fire,
Is CNN the most trusted name in news? Their own employees are telling us that they're not. But the same employees that tell us that they're not are also participating in the propaganda that they're ashamed of. And that's perhaps the greatest tragedy of all. That Charlie Chester is willing to say these things privately. He's willing to say the quiet part out loud, privately. But they don't have the courage to say so publicly. And as Jim Sciutto told me when I was walking out of this door, he's been a journalist for 25 years. Well, Jim Sciutto, your own colleagues should have the courage to say publicly what they'll tell us privately. And if you're a journalist, you should stand up and do exactly that. Stand by.
Thank you, Project Veritas. Y'all hear that? So the bottom line is my man now is busted. He done spilled all the beans. Egg is on his face. These people who got caught, man, are like, oh, God, I'm going to be blackballed. I'm going to be fired. Man, this is the worst case scenario. But yet, it's a benefit to us all. Because if you're willing to sell your soul to manipulate the population, to cause all this tension and division in our society, I have little mercy for you. I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. We watched these people get on TV for the last 4 years or so and drive a wedge between us as citizens, push all types of lies and propaganda. And then when they get busted, hey, I don't care. It's about time somebody done busted them. So there it is, y'all. Part 3 of Project Veritas, man. Keeping it 100% real. Now, I'll talk to y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Keep doing it. Keep up the good work, Project Veritas.
The credo of journalism: inform the people. You have an obligation and a duty to the people.
Check out Extreme Tees, my sponsor. The link is below this video. If you click on it and put Kevin in the promo code, you'll get a 20% discount. And finally, don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And if you'd like to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, there's links below this video to do that as well. Okay, God bless you and God bless America.